Hello, Internet. I'm actually in the process of editing the episode that you are watching right now. And while I was editing, I realized I wanted to put out a little PSA. First and foremost, I just wanted to apologize for how long it's taken me to put up another travel video. I actually did most of this filming about a month and a half to 2 months ago. But, as you might be able to tell from the background change, I moved right after filming. And immediately after moving, I got egregiously sick. So now I'm better, and I'm in a new space, which is great because it means I'm going to be able to produce more content more often. And I just wanted to apologize for the wait, and I wanted to thank Brewery Becker again for letting me come in and film. Oh, and one more thing. The sound system in the bar was, a little loud, so I had to do some tweaking to the audio. So if anything sounds a little off, it's just me trying to filter out some of the copyrighted music that was playing in the background. But other than that, enjoy the episode. Good morning, Internet. Wake up. It's almost booze o'clock. And you don't want to be late for booze o'clock. I'm your host, Dave, and welcome back to the Noisy Barstool Presents. Now, today we are going to be visiting a brewery in Brighton, Michigan called Brewery Becker. And I've been wanting to do an episode on this place since I stepped foot in there. It's in a beautiful historic building, and they are making some beautiful historic beers. In my last two episodes, I highlighted places that were bringing craft culture to towns you wouldn't expect to find it. But today, we're featuring a place that is running a truly unique program. This one is all about the beer, y'all. Let's go. The Brewery Becker opened in 2014 at 500 Main Street in downtown Brighton, Michigan. The building it currently resides in is Brighton's historic hotel, the Western House. And while this might just be a cool background story for most breweries, it actually sets up the motif for Brewery Becker better than anything else. You see, where some breweries run a program that's hop forward or sour forward, Brewery Becker is actually specializing in recreating beers that aren't really produced anymore. Yes, they have a West Coast IPA or an easy drinking wheat ale, but they're also going to be producing things like grisettes, a pale saison style beer originating in the mining communities on the border of France and Belgium, or braggots, a beer mead hybrid, or gruits. Essentially a proto beer that doesn't make use of hops. Instead, they use herbs and flowers as a preservative. If it's your first time here, I would definitely suggest starting with a flight. And if you're new to beer, try something approachable, their Hefeweizen or their West Coast IPA, and then maybe ask the bartender for some advice on how to expand your palate. And if you're a veteran to beer drinking, let me tell you, this is going to be your playground because they're doing some really fun, historically accurate beers that you're going to want to check out. If you end up coming in the next few weeks, I would suggest definitely trying out their Kriek. Kriek is a traditional Belgian ale done with tart cherries, and they can run a little sour, but they're incredible. Or I might suggest the Bruce Stout, just a lovely medium-bodied stout with just the subtlest amount of spruce tips in it. It's fantastic. Regardless of what you like, I would be remiss if I didn't tell you to try the Vardrika. That's the gruit they make here. A gruit is a beer done without hops, like I said earlier. And hops are the ingredient in beer that makes an IPA taste like an IPA. Some hops will make a beer bitter, some will make it citrusy, some will make it piney. But hops weren't necessarily first put into beer as a flavor enhancer. They were actually put in as a sort of preservative, and then brewers went wild with it. Today, hops are in all beer. Well, all beer except for gruit. Instead, they use things like herbs, rosemary, mugwort, juniper, that sort of thing. So when you taste one of these, it's going to be subtly sweet, a little floral, a little warm, and then you're going to finish with some really herbaceous qualities. It's almost like having a cocktail made into a beer. It's delightful. If you're a beer tourist, then you definitely need to put Brewery Becker on your list of places to go. Drinking here is like taking an intro class in beer. And they have a variety across their 14 taps that blows any of their neighbors out of the water. We're talking a Hefeweizen, a Dunkel, a Kolsch, a barrel-aged Imperial Stout, a stout with spruce tips, a turn-of-the-century American-style IPA, a West Coast IPA, a Creek Double, a Braggot Mead, a Gruit. I mean, this place truly has something for everyone. You've gotta come in and try this stuff. While the brewery doesn't have a traditional kitchen, they do have a delightful snack menu. Things like soft pretzels, popcorn, meat and cheese plates, and they'll let you order from any of the local restaurants around town. And if you're trying to keep it kosher, not trying to get too drunk, they also offer a variety of shandies on their menu, so you can have just a little soda in your beer and keep it at a low ABV. It's good for anyone who's going to be a designated driver but just wants to have one adult beverage and just hang out with something under 3%. Brewery Becker is running a really unique program, and they make some great beer. Whether you're a beer tourist, just starting out in beer, or you're a seasoned veteran, this place is worth a stop. But aside from being a good brewery, they also are just a really cool public space. They host yoga and open mic nights. They have book clubs and beer discussions. If you're anywhere near Brighton, it's worth taking a stop. Well, that'll do it for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, maybe think about liking the episode, subscribing to the channel, hitting that bell icon for notifications. You can always find me on social media. I'll leave the links below. I have a website up and running. If you want to read my thoughts on some articles I write about some of the weirder parts of bartending, you can find that at thenoisybarstool.com. I've been Dave, your host, and as always, if it ever looks like your glass is half empty, that might mean you're just not drinking fast enough. Cheers.